Late last year, I got a phone call one day from the folks at the Fox Theater asking me if I would like to take on a small restoration project. I, of course, agreed to it immediately because if you like preservation and restoration, it doesn't get any better than working at the Fox Theater. Not only that, Jenna and I were being asked to help take care of Mighty Mo. We were down for it. The Fox Theater is one of the most iconic symbols of preservation and restoration work in the city of Atlanta. And if you ever get a chance to tour it, you will remember every step you take in that building. You start off by going down a 140-foot deep arcade, walking your way back to the doors and entering into a mezzanine area. And your head, it's as if it's mounted on a pedestal. You just rotate looking and taking in all the eye candy that's available. When you walk into the auditorium, it feels as if you're walking out from underneath a Bedouin tent. You look up, see blue skies with stars twinkling, clouds passing along, and it's just breathtaking. There's just nothing like it. There's obviously a very heavy Arabian and Egyptian theme in the theater, and everywhere you look, you just see more and more evidence of just a stunning structure. Even something as mundane as going to the restroom becomes a very memorable event. For the ladies in the crowd, when you go back to the ladies' lounge area, you go again through this beautiful Egyptian themes, art, doorways, you name it. And of course, there's a movie to go see or a concert. It's awaiting you after you get through with this experience. And if you need to brush your hair or straighten your makeup, then fine. You got plenty of room to do it in. There are also other areas. This is the Egyptian Ballroom, which is there for many, been there for many memorable events, reunions, weddings, corporate functions. And if that's more than you need, then you've got the Grand Salon. Large areas to celebrate. This was originally built by the Shriners for their purposes. The history of the Fox Theater hasn't always been smooth sailing. It was built right at the beginning of the Great Depression, 1929, Christmas. It opened, and it was, of course, a Fox Theater for showing movies, but the Shriners also had rooms for their purposes. Within 3 years after opening, it was sold on the courthouse steps for a fraction of its original cost. And in the 70s, 1970s, corporate America looked at the property it sat on, right on Peachtree, and said that would make for a great office building. Well, a lot of people had very fond memories of growing up and going to the Fox Theater and spending their time there, being whisked away to another uh, land, so to speak. And they just stood up and said, "Oh, hell no, not on our watch." And they saved the Fox Theater. Now, here's what we're there to work on, which is Mighty Mo. And this is Mo sitting on a pedestal or platform. It's less than 100 square feet, but it's the only wood that is still visible in the auditorium area of the theater. And that was what we were asked to take care of because Mo, for the first time in 90 some odd years, had left the building. And the pad that he sat on was in need of some TLC. And that's what Jenna and I were there to do. And this is a condition of the floor as we found it. It was a very attractive wood floor. Here's a close-up of the wood. It was a longleaf yellow pine, and it's a slightly more narrow than most of the pine flooring of that period. But they knew that Mo needed support. Look at the thickness of the wood. It's twice as thick as the standard pine flooring of that time. Got a half-inch wear layer. So Mo was going to get a lot of support. But what we're there to do is to take care of the look of the pedestal, the platform. And you can see that we had a lot of work to do, but the original finish was still intact. It was there. And that's what we were going to be working to remove. And as you can see, there were lots of openings in the floor that had been cut in there to help get tubes, electrical cords, pipes, etc., so that Mo could do his work, you know, please the crowd with his music. All right, we started taking off the old coatings, and as you can see, the pine floor is in great shape. Just an old coating that needed to come off, and we were using passive refinishing. There's no loss of original material. The wood is going to be left intact. And here's Jenna taking care of one particular opening that was very ragged. Jenna takes care of all the repair work. Jenna is my in-house carpenter, and she does great, great work. And she did a wonderful repair. We had a lot of fun working in the place. Here's a shot I took of Jenna down there in that bright spot, lower left, doing the repair work. This gives you some idea or perspective of the room that we were working in. Once we got all the finishes off, it's time to start putting a new finish on, and our preference is to work with Paulman's Magic Oil. It does a great job of sealing the wood and protecting it, and it's very easily maintained. Now it's my turn to go on stage, and I'm buffing in the Magic Oil. We made 3 applications, buffed it into the floor, and got a very, very nice, attractive look. And here I am. Jenna went up in the balcony and took the picture of me down there doing my solo performance, only performance at the Fox Theater for me. And here's the finished project. And as you can see, the wood is just stunning. It's aged. You can still see outlines of where things were placed, where there were old lines of finish. And here is the final product. This is one of the reasons I like the Magic Oil. You get a very nice, subtle look. Okay, let's bring the big boy back in the room. This is Mighty Mo, and I think you can see where the name Mighty comes from. It's the second largest organ of its type in the country. The only one bigger is the one at Radio City Music Hall. And as you can see, that wood really complements the colors of Mighty Mo. And if you ever get a chance to go to the Fox Theater and hear Mo in concert, it is well worth your time. He's a colorful old boy. He's aged well, a lot better than me. Okay, so that was the project. The Fox Theater, if you come to Atlanta, it better be on your list of things to do. Here is who you get in touch with to go on the tours. They are probably in high demand. I want to give a big shout out to the folks at the Fox Theater Institute, Lee Burns and her staff for making this possible. We had an absolute blast working on it. The Fox Theater Institute does a lot of good work. Not only do they steward the Fox Theater, but they also help other theaters in the Georgia area with financial assistance and advice on preserving and restoring their old theaters. They do good work. So come to Atlanta and go to the Fox Theater. Take care.